We're live again with Fred Botheling. Sorry about those audio issues there. Fred, once again, what is ultracycling?
Well, ultracycling is generally considered road riding over 200 miles, greater than 200 miles. Conventional cycling up until 200, then from 200 miles on up to thousands of miles, that's ultracycling.
You're the race director of Race Across America, the toughest cycling race in the world. Tell me a wee bit about Race Across America.
Well, Race Across America, it's 3,000 miles, coast to coast, non-stop across the USA, from the Pacific Ocean to the Atlantic Ocean. And the race this year, this June, will be the 36th year of Race Across America. And Outside Magazine has called it the world's toughest bicycle race. And the reason is it's non-stop. It starts in Oceanside, California, ends in Annapolis, Maryland, and that clock doesn't stop until the racers cross. It's open to teams and solo racers. 2, 4, and 8 person teams and solo racers. Teams have 9 days to finish the race. Solo racers have 12 days to finish the race. And it's that time constraint in addition to the distance that makes that race so exceptionally difficult.
Tell me about the caliber of riders.
The riders, they range across the map. They're all strong riders, but we have professionals at the top end that are extremely fast, and at the other end we have people that are ordinary folks like you and I, and they train hard and they race, they do their best. And all of them, the common ground is they're all out there and they all come away at the end with an incredible sense of accomplishment and satisfaction on what they've done.
This is a very tough race. Joe Barr himself has DNF'd in it. Tell me about the extreme fatigue and what the riders really go through.
Yes, and by the way, I've raced RAAM myself. I've done it on a 2-person team, and I've done it solo and finished both times. One of the most difficult things about this race is you can't sustain a high and extreme level of output the entire distance over the race. Part of the trick is to manage your effort over the course of the race, so you minimize your time. And when you do it the first time, you're just trying to figure out how to do this, and it's not an easy transition. Once you figure it out, you do extremely well. And even then, there are guys, there's one guy, Rob Kish from Florida, who's raced RAAM 19, well, he's raced it 20 times, finished 19. And it is difficult to keep that effort and manage it and stay healthy over the entire race, whether you're experienced or not. And those are the kinds of things that make another thing that makes the race different.
In 2014, Joe Barr completed the Race America. We called it eating the elephant one part at a time. So going slow, even it's not a quick race, but it's a long race.
It is, and as I said, the challenge is to figure out how to bridge that distance in as short a time as possible. You can go out like crazy in the beginning, but you're going to fade. And what riders figure out is that they'll have problems along the way. And one of the things they can do is just dial back to speed, slow down, gather yourself together, and then take off again. So the idea is to stay on that bike and keep moving, but manage your effort over time. And Joe's figured out how to do that.
Tell me about the crews. It's not just the riders, it's the crews. What do the crews have to do? What do they go through?
That's a really good question. When I raced the race solo, and I did it at 61 years old, I spoke to a bunch of groups, particularly older people, and everybody used to ask me, well, wasn't that hard doing solo RAAM? And I said, well, of course it was. But I had the easy job. All I had to do was pedal the bike. I had one job, pedal the bike. The crew takes care of everything else. They monitor your nutrition, your fluid intake, calories, medical. They look after your bicycle, every aspect of it. They have to navigate the route. They have to keep the vehicles, the support vehicles running, and it's a complex job. And crew, frankly, have the most difficult, complex job in supporting those riders on a race.
And you were with us in NCOM 1000. How did you get on in NCOM?
Okay, so NCOM, that's No Country for Old Men. It's a race, it's a RAAM qualifying race in Texas. And every once in a while, I get together with a group of us from RAAM and we'll go race. And so we did that in a couple of years back. And we will probably come back and race No Country for Old Men again. And it's fun. And it keeps me connected to the actual physical racing part of it. So I enjoy it.
It's not an easy race. It's like RAAM compressed into 1,000 miles.
It is. You know, I should say, what NCOM is a RAAM qualifying race. There are 43 RAAM qualifying races around the world, 15 countries, and we have those RAAM qualifying races for two reasons. First, solos can't simply enter RAAM. They have to qualify. They have to meet a certain standard to be able to race RAAM. Teams, you can just put together a team and enter RAAM. But, so in order to qualify, we started having RAAM qualifying races a long time ago. But we discovered along the way that it wasn't just about the racers qualifying for solo RAAM. The racers, and the support crews for both solo and teams needed to develop the experience to race. And the RAAM qualifying races now provide that experience. And we encourage everybody to practice and work together as a support crew and a team. And that's really what NCOM is. It's one of those 43 races.
You're here now at the race across Italy. What are you doing here? You're far away from home.
Well, Joe Barr just accused me of going on vacation. I suppose I could think of it that way. I have a job that is fun and enjoyable. But one of the things that I do is I try and connect with all of these 43 races. Now, I can't get around to all of them every year, but I can get around to each race every 2, 3, 4 years. And so I am here in sunny today, Silvi Marina on the Adriatic in Italy to observe, watch the riders, see how the races run, to get a connection, to maintain that connection to race across Italy.
Tell me a bit about the race across Italy.
Pardon me?
Tell me a little bit about the race across Italy.
Race across Italy is we'll say it's sort of a mini version of RAAM. And it starts out Silvi Marina on the Adriatic coast, the east coast of Italy. The riders will go across the mountains, across the spine of Italy, over to the Tyrrhenian Sea, and then they'll turn around and come back across the mountains and finish back here in Silvi. It's about 500 miles, and it's a very challenging race. It's one of the more challenging 500-mile races in the world, and it's great fun, great terrain. The riders love it.
What would be your advice to Joe Barr in this race?
Well, Joe's at the point now where he doesn't need my advice. He'll do fine, and it's just you have every racer should have a race plan. Racer and their crew, they'll have a race plan, and they will generally stick with that race plan. Although they'll get thrown challenges along the way, things happen, and those race crews have to adapt, improvise, and overcome. And what Joe has to do is stay within his race plan, manage his race, and Joe will do just fine.
For sure. So, Fred Botheling, thank you for talking to us today. We'll catch up with you at some point during the race.
Sounds good.
We'll see you then. Ciao.
Yep. Ciao.